first semifinal of the tournament. So the winner of this goes to the championship to play the winner of the next game, as you just said. So this is all the high stakes, about as high stakes as you can get until tomorrow night with the MRDA championship game.
Yes, and if your friends are wondering if they should get a watch pass, they should.
Yes.
Tomorrow will be fantastic.
Still available. You should absolutely buy it. It is worth it. You're going to see some great roller derby, some great MRDA roller derby. And we are going to be getting started here in just a moment. It's going to be Magnum for St. Louis.
And that is against Thortank for Toulouse. If you are joining us, Toulouse will be wearing the red, and St. Louis will be in the black with the green accents.
Yeah, they have that bright green. It's one of the things they're known for. It kind of looks like Christmas out there right now.
Which is good.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting through fall. It's a little early for that, but speaking of early, it is Magnum, your first lead jammer of the game. We've seen so many upsets in this tournament, 3 in a row.
Yeah,
if it's going to happen for 4 in a row, this would be the time.
This has certainly been an interesting tournament so far. Yesterday we had so many close games, so closely fought. A couple of upsets today. I know that St. Louis are most definitely hoping for the win, and Toulouse have done so fantastically so far. They're going, yeah, you know what? We're going to leave it all on the track.
Magnum through the pack. 5 points on the board. Gatekeepers strike first.
And we can see Thortank has been struggling in the pack right now.
Going up against the St. Louis pack is no easy task to begin with. And we're finding out, Toulouse for the first time today, finding out just how hard it is. Magnum to the outside, and he will get another 5 points on the board. First team to get in double digits on the first jam.
Absolutely, and we're still seeing Toulouse struggling against that. We see some offense coming in from the pivot. That's number 31. That is Angry Bear. Unfortunately, having to go back because Magnum's kind of a fast jammer.
He is.
And he gets round really quickly, and defense has to happen.
If you've never heard of Magnum, you should, because he's really good. Another 3 points on the board for St. Louis, 13-0 after our first jam.
And I have a feeling I might know who the next jammer for Toulouse is.
Who is that?
I think it might be Mr. Furio.
Well, for St. Louis, we have Shane Bauer.
And I say this because, coming from the UK, if my accent has not given it away, I was originally from the UK.
I thought you were German. This is all news to me.
It's all new. Furio is through. Furio is a fantastic jammer and going to show us some skills of his right now. But Shane Bauer is chasing down. Right
behind him. And, of course, he goes right into that wall. Let's see if the hips passed anyone. 1 point for Toulouse, so they are on the board. Nothing for St. Louis, so 1-0 on that. Toulouse does get on the board on the second jam.
Furio having a little dance there that unfortunately was not caught by the camera. It doesn't strike me as a jammer that dances that much, but it's nice. I like it.
Nobody currently occupying the Rydell penalty box, and in fact, no penalties just yet.
Now that we've said that, we can there'll probably be at least one in this.
Curse to the announcer, put $1 in the jar.
I don't have $1. I have a $2 bill.
Put a pound in the jar? A euro?
Yeah, pound? No, pound,
okay.
Pound. You did good. You did good.
Put one item of currency in the jar.
Yes. Looking current as our jammers, it's Screech Around and Moshpit no Jitsu.
And Moshpit no Jitsu did not jam in the first game. That was their first of the tournament this morning against Manchester, the number 4-5 game. This is the number 1 versus 4 game, and a track cut is going to send Moshpit no Jitsu to the penalty Moshpit, the Rydell penalty box. Screech Around inside the pack on a scoring pass to the outs or to the inside. He's through, and another 5 on the board for St. Louis.
Yeah, Screech Around is one of the core jammers in that rotation. And as we can see, that fancy footwork trying to get him through. That was 6-1-8. Bled Zeppelin offering a little offense there.
But there is number 789 of Toulouse with a great hit, slowing him down. I'm sorry, 179, Braveheart. Not enough, though. 5 points on the board for St. Louis, now bringing it up to 23 total.
And Moshpit no Jitsu has been released from the box, and Bled Zeppelin once again just, getting all up in his grill.
He is blocking that stairway to heaven or to any points.
Exactly. We see another player for Toulouse going into the penalty box. See, we said about penalties, and then it happened.
Then it happened. 2 of them right there for Toulouse. And another 5 points on the board for St. Louis, now bringing it up to 15 total on the jam.
If we talk about the announcer's curse, does that mean if we say about we don't want any cupcakes brought to us with that work?
Announcers don't like cupcakes. Don't bring us cupcakes.
Absolutely not. Looking sweet on the track right now is Screech Around with 19 points for St. Louis.
And especially don't bring us any buckets of donuts. Never bring us buckets of donuts.
No, absolutely not.
So 5 more points there for Screech Around, bringing it up to 24. And now a 37-1 game very early. But we've seen a lot of these games, a lot of these higher up teams that are ranked above go up early first by a lot, and then the other team catch up. So Toulouse, the pattern might continue.
The pattern will most likely continue.
Very well could.
I think we have a timeout. So we're going to have a little talk about some of our sponsors. Apex Wellness Center jumped over to Apex Wellness Center, offering chiropractic, massage, and acupuncture to help you get back on the track. And they are located in Portland, Oregon. Integrated health at its peak.
And we appreciate all the support from our sponsors this weekend. On the 5-stride jam line, you got number 213 of Toulouse. That would be Captain Flem.
And I do believe I see the wheels of Metcalf rolling on the track right now.
First time he'll have the star in this game.
I had one of the volunteers turn around earlier and said that as she was putting the tape down that Metcalf thanked her. And I want to thank our volunteers. We have an amazing production crew. We have amazing volunteers in-house, medics, everyone who is making this weekend just superb.
Let's especially thank our host league, the Bridgetown Menace and Lane County Concussions.
We are very thankful to you guys, and we're also thankful for this amazing derby going on right now.
Oh, and a track cut on Captain Flem. He's going to go to the penalty box. Metcalf is out of the pack, but he is not lead jammer, so it looks like it is going to go the full 2 minutes.
And Metcalf just picked up what looks like a back block penalty, so he's going to take a seat in the penalty box, and Captain Flem will be released.
Yeah, I totally was not about to say that St. Louis has no penalties, but they do now. 1 back block on Metcalf. So Captain Flem out of the box, into the pack, going right up at the front. He's got double XL in front of him. That's never an easy task, but luckily for him, double XL falls down. Now he's got 1 in front. That's Percy Control.
Can we also just talk about Gatto just leaping over a down skater? I do believe that was double XL that he leapt over.
Showing those Gatto-like reflexes.
Exactly.
I don't know if that means the same thing in Spanish as it does in French. I'm just going to hope it does.
Somebody
cat.
out there
It
will
means
have
cat.
understood you.
Nimble like a cat. Okay, 4 points on the board for Metcalf as he exits the box now, 41-4. Still only that 1 point for Toulouse scored on the second jam.
And Metcalf out, having been freed from his penalty box prison.
Another 4 points there for Toulouse and another 4 points for St. Louis. And round they go until they stop. Right there in the between turns 2 and 3.
Yep, both packs are at a standstill right now. Both jammers look like they've been super glued to the blockers.
Oh, a huge hit by number 322, Gatto. That's more like a lion. It's taking him out, forcing him all the way back. Looks like going to go into turn 2. Re-engages the pack, a full 4-wall there, but split apart. Thanks to some good blocking, and that is going to be the jam. Looks like 2 more for Toulouse and 3 more for St. Louis.
And we are 22 minutes left in this first half. We're going to take a little chat with you about another one of our sponsors, Vault 31, which is owned by Bridgetown Skater. Vault 31 is a bar opening in Vancouver, Washington, early 2019. Let Vault 31 be your destination for roller derby watch parties, esports music, and more.
So it is going to be a rematch from our first jam, Magnum versus Thortank. Both jammers inside the pack. But this time it's Thortank through first. Lead jammer Toulouse. And you got, I heard a whistle, but it was not on Magnum. Magnum about a quarter of a track length behind and definitely gaining speed and gaining distance on Thortank. Thortank forced to the inside and going to call it off. 2 points for St. Louis, 3 points for Toulouse. So it's 50-10, 21.5 remaining in the first half of our first semifinal matchup.
I was also going to say, so if you are aware of St. Louis, they are very sturdy, very strong blockers. And we can kind of see Toulouse is playing a very physical game, trying to kind of knock these blockers away. And so far, they've got some really fantastic hits in. So
they do. So it is number 13, Mr. Furio against Shane Bauer. We saw this in the first game against Manchester where he knocked them out and let the pack words are hard. Pack catch up, but unfortunately for him, the Gatekeepers are so fast that it was the Gatekeepers pack blocking Toulouse's pack. So it didn't work.
Yeah, I mean, we spent some time earlier talking about speed when it comes to teams, and
it doesn't get much faster than the Gatekeepers, but Toulouse definitely up for the challenge. Mr. Furio through the pack. He's going to be your lead jammer for Toulouse. That's their third lead jammer of the game. St. Louis looking like they're all smiles, though. They're still having fun. And
both packs are quite spread out right now, which is probably exactly what the jammers want.
Absolutely. Now we're going to see some defensive jamming there as Furio takes down Shane Bauer and forces him back. We're going to do this again. This seems to be a common pattern in Toulouse's strategy. We haven't really seen anyone else doing it the entire tournament.
I just think Furio likes to hug Shane. I think that's what's going on.
Nice move by Furio once again, but Shane coming at him with the shoulder. He's getting back in the pack. Remember, Furio is lead, so he is in control of this jam. Even though Shane has the positional advantage. And Furio is just going to call it off. No points to lose. 5 points to lose on that jam. 4 points for St. Louis. 54-15, under 19.5 remaining in the first half.
Can I just say that was really a really fun jam to watch?
That was, because they were going. It was so much defensive jamming, and then watching the two go at each other. And Furio was able to really get. It looked like he almost got into Bauer's head there for a minute. Mm-hmm. We'll see though.
He's a sneaky Frenchman.
He is sneaky.
So, and talking of sneaky, Screech Around and Mosh Pit No Jitsu are our sneaky jammers for jam number 7.
Both jammers into the pack, looking for room. Screech Around, little too. No, gets back inside. Loses his footing, but is already through for lead jammer. Toulouse looked like they may have disengaged a little quickly there, maybe thinking he wasn't, but he was. There he is, Mosh Pit, also completing his initial pass.
And Screech just tiptoeing through.
Got his fast 4, calls it off. 58-15, 18.5 remaining in the first half of our first semifinal matchup.
Yep, so at the moment, St. Louis Gatekeepers are in the lead with 43 points.
Yes, math is hard, but you are correct.
I use my brain for smart making every now and again.
I trust your educational system in the UK a little more than ours at the moment.
We'll say less about that. We'll say more about
Metcalf.
Yes
Lemoness and Metcalf. And it is Metcalf to the outside, staying in bounds and picking up another lead jammer for the Gatekeepers.
And now we see Toulouse just swarming through those Gatekeepers. Yas Lamenas holding the star in hand, stashing it, and coming back round.
Yeah, good move there by Yas Lamenas to get through right behind and limit the damage that was done. No points for Toulouse, 4 for St. Louis, but again, does limit it. St. Louis so good on that defense, they can just lock your jammer down and get 15 points in before you even know what's happening.
Yeah, it's that kind of blink and you'll miss it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden more points are on the board and you're like, what, how?
It's like if a weeping angel is coming near you, just don't blink. Just don't blink.
Thank you for the Doctor Who reference.
Anytime. So it is with the star.
It's last rites for St. Louis. First time donning the star this game. Thortank, though, just doing some Thorson work.
I do not envy Thortank right now because Last Rites is a very large man. When he's chasing you, I'd imagine that's what it's like to be chased by a grizzly bear.
Yep. I feel, I remember seeing somebody on Facebook making a comment about St. Louis and going, they all look like giant bears.
Somebody throw him a salmon. I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's an effective blocking strategy.
Yeah.
It is going to be a power start with Thortank in the Rydell penalty box. Magnum is going to be the lone jammer out there. Full 4-wall for both teams.
And I get the feeling that St. Louis are going to get Magnum out very quickly here.
Oh, no. And that's that low block odd Magnum going to send him to the Rydell penalty box where you're going to have a jammer switch. That's only St. Louis's second penalty of the entire game. Both were on jammers.
Yep, and this is going to give Thortank an opportunity, just a small one, to grab lead, because I do believe Thortank wasn't in the box for too long.
No, he was only in there for a little bit. Magnum already released from the box and back in the pack looking for room to the outside, and he is through. But remember, he did serve time. He will not be lead.
Yep, so this will now run to its full conclusion. We currently have a minute and 16 seconds left on this jam.
Person control working the outside, and now he'll go to the Rydell penalty box. It is Thortank through the pack. He will be lead jammer.
Ooh. Interesting.
Plot twist.
I thought that nobody could get lead for some reason.
No, he started in the box, so he was
yeah.
eligible for lead. And Magnum going back to the box, this time for a track cut.
So not only does Thortank have lead, he has a power jam.
Yeah, so another opportunity here. Thortank going at Stark, now trying to move in, and double XL with a big hit. And Thortank with a track cut.
And double going. Yep, that's my jam.
4 power jams in one jam. Does anyone want to wear the star at the moment? Clearly Magnum.
Yeah. Magnum likes that star.
Magnum does like that star. And you know what? He looks good wearing the star.
Yeah. I
9 times out of 10, it's what the doctor ordered.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you're playing against him, then the doctor would not recommend that.
Not recommended for consumption.
Please, no. 5 points on the board for St. Louis. And that looks like, yeah, it will be the only 5 points of the jam. It was a long jam because of all the power jams.
That's a long old jam for only 5 points on the board.
Very hard fought 5 points by Magnum.
I think was that the jammer for Toulouse for the last game? Just going back to the bench like, oh my goodness, that was so long.
Yeah, Toulouse, I mean, they are the number 4 ranked team in MRDA, the number 4 seed. St. Louis, of course, the number 1 seed and the defending champion, 3-time champion.
So whoever wins will go on to play for gold. Whoever loses, though, will still have the opportunity to win themselves a shiny piece of medal.
Just a slightly different color, the bronze color.
I mean, I kind of like rose gold and bronze are very similar, so I'd be okay with bronze.
Your preference, whatever you want to call it. Words, details. All right, there's 4 points for Shane Bauer. He's going to call it off. So add another 4 to St. Louis's lead, 71-15. GateKeepers on top. They've been holding Toulouse scoreless for 5 jams.
We want to give a shout out to Rydell Skates, who are the sponsors of the 2018 MRDA Championships.
And here is the whistle. It's going to be Furio against Screech Around, and Screech Around, before I could complete his name, gets lead jammer.
Well, that's what happens when jammers have longer names.
Or when they're just really fast and they can get through the pack really well.
Yeah.
Furio also through the pack. Let's see what Screech does here. Screech inside the pack, quickly to the inside, taps his hips, calls it off. Let's see if Furio did steal a few.
Furio was trying to steal a few, but we don't see any points on the board yet.
No.
Take a look.
Furio. Oh, he's okay. He was laughing. I thought he was coughing.
Okay, that's. we like to see jammers smile.
I'd rather see laughing than coughing.
Yes.
So it's going to be number 2-1-3 for Toulouse. That is Captain Flem going up against Metcalf. all of the Gatekeepers.
And we have a 3-2 pack advantage right now with Toulouse having 2 of the players in the box.
And double XL in the Rydell penalty box for St. Louis. Nobody's gotten through yet, and I lied. It's Metcalf.
Metcalf just checking. Nope, that toe stop is still in. Cool. It's good to check. It's very important. We don't like penalties.
And Captain Flem also threw the pack, but yes, you don't want to get those penalties. 2 points on the jam. I believe that's 6 jams now scoreless. 7 jams scoreless. Excuse me, numbers are hard. Thank you to our producer, Brutiful Monstar.
Yes, we just gave you a shout out.
She's confused why we just said her name. It's a good thing.
If you have been enjoying the sounds of our voices, please do feel free to give us a shout out. We will be trying to check social media and saying thank you. Also saying thank you right now is Last Rights. Thank you for giving me lead jammer.
And that would be Furio, the jammer for Toulouse. Last Rights in the pack on a scoring pass, but Furio straight into Hulk. Okay, that's very risky.
Yes, that is.
I mean, you don't want to do that. Maybe into Bruce Banner, but not in the Hulk.
But that paid off for Toulouse. They put 2 points on the board there, so they have finally got points on after, was it 7 jams?
Yeah, 3-2, though, in favor of St. Louis. Now, Furio is like a human missile.
Yeah, when he is given the opportunity to get air, he gets air.
Yas Laminas and Magnum are our next jammers on our 15th jam, and it's Magnum through the pack. Lead jammer, showing once again why he is a Team USA skater.
Yep, and just dancing his way through that wide open wall there.
5 on the board so far, but Magnum not done yet to the outside. Now running into a 3-wall of Toulouse blockers, breaking it apart alone with number 1, the Saint as the bridge. 5 points on the board. St. Louis making it a double-digit jam for the defending champions.
And we see Magnum dancing and diving around. While we've been talking about Magnum, Gatto, with his cat-like reflexes, has donned the star. But he is still having a bit of difficulty. And that jam's going to be called.
Yeah, not an easy task, but is able to move up and forces Magnum to call it off after 15 points picked up. Now 95-17, St. Louis on top as we're about to hit the 9-minute mark.
Yep, and also we look like St. Louis is close to slapping that century.
Just about. It's going to be Shane Bauer going up against Mosh Pit no Jutsu. Excuse me if I mispronounce things.
It's okay.
Words are hard.
I'm here, and my dulcet British tones will distract everyone anyway.
You lived closer to there. I'll trust you.
Exactly. I mean, I'm still terrible with pronouncing names, but that's fine.
Well, speaking of trust, it is Shane Bauer who is our lead jammer for this jam. Gets in now, breaking that pack apart, getting some help from Double XL in front with and Percy Control. Really both packs kind of blending together. He's going to call it off quickly after picking up a fast 4. 4-0 on that, and they're just behind that century mark, 1 point.
I don't want to, look into my crystal ball and guess too much. I feel like they might hit that century.
You have a crystal ball?
I do have a crystal ball.
I have no idea where that is. We can't go looking for that now. We don't need the predictions. It's more fun to watch it without the crystal ball.
Exactly. Do you know who else is fun to watch?
Who's that?
Screech Around.
Screech Around is the jammer for St. Louis. He's going up against Captain Flem.
And Captain Flem is also giving us some great things to watch. Watching that footwork try and dance around those incredible gatekeeper blockers.
And that's the 7th lead in a row for Screech Around. Captain Flem still in the back of the pack looking for room, but that 3-wall very effective. Screech Around up against the 2-wall in front with 2 blockers for Toulouse in the Rydell penalty box. A no pass, no penalty, but still gets the 5 points on the board.
And with one to beat, that one to beat is Bled Zeppelin. Ably joined by the pivot. I believe that's the Saint.
Absolutely. Not easy as Screech around, back in the pack, looking for room, looking for the other jammer, and loses his footing, but just like Chumbawamba once suggested, he gets back up again.
And now I'm going to have that stuck in my head.
You're welcome. So
I thought I saw Screech around saying, and stay there to the other jammer.
Well, because that false Screech around does get reabsorbed into the pack, he has one player in front of him to beat. That is La Rotissiere.
Thank
you. Right you are, Go Boots.
Look, it just sounds nicer with a French accent on it as well.
It does.
And we were talking earlier about slapping that century, and
they did.
Yeah, Screech around just slapped that century in the face and was like, there's your 10 points.
10-4 on the jam, 109-21. We're gonna have Metcalf putting on the star, going up against Thor Tank of Toulouse. Both jammers inside that pack, moving towards turn one. Into turn one, Metcalf with a 3-wall in front of him.
Metcalf doing some wonderful shoulder work, trying to bounce past, but Toulouse also doing some fantastic blocking work and stopping him from getting through.
Metcalf pushed the inside into his own blocker, double XL. Now looking for room up the middle, but no, gets blocked there by number 192, Big Jim.
And we see Metcalf really having trouble on that turn. And he got a forearm, I believe.
Yeah, forearm on Metcalf. He is going to go to the penalty box, to the Rydell penalty box. So an opportunity here for Toulouse. No pass, no penalty. So we are not going to have a lead jammer.
And it took about a minute for Toulouse's jammer to get out. I mean, Metcalf was having a bit of a tough time as well.
Yeah, Toulouse's defense really clamping down here on this jam, holding Metcalf back, but it is Thor Tank through the pack, picking up the first 5 points of the jam. Only took about 1:20 to get it. So good defense always, as usual, by St. Louis, but Toulouse neutralizing Metcalf. That was a very big step for them.
And we see Stark offering both offense and defense at the same time there.
Metcalf out of the box, out of the pack. That's the initial pass. Let's see if he can get some points. Hey, looks like he will. And gets pushed back inside by number 95, Hygiene Nick.
We saw Thor Tank taking off the star there, but as he was taking off the star, his pivot was getting sent to the penalty box. So Thor Tank will have to keep going.
It's like sending an email to an invalid address.
I hate when that happens.
Mail undeliverable.
What's worse, having an email not responded to or having it not deliverable?
I'd rather have it not deliverable.
Okay.
Because then I don't feel ignored.
Okay. There we go.
It's going to be last rights with the star for the Gatekeepers. And I believe that's yes, that is no, that's not Captain Flam. I'm wrong.
That is 1-2-1.
That is Mosh Pit no Jutsu.
So it's 1-2-1-2. Oh, Mosh Pit.
There you go.
1-2-1-2, yeah.
Going up.
I haven't had much coffee today.
1-on-1 against Blood Zeppelin and another Toulouse lead jammer, Mosh Pit no Jutsu. Star pass complete to the Saint.
And the Saint is not somebody that we see jamming too much. St. Louis don't utilize star passes a great deal.
No, but you always want to put somebody in position that can do it if you need to as the pivot.
Absolutely. And I definitely think the Saint is, it would be nice to see him wear the star a little bit.
Well, unfortunately, he's called off before he could pick up any points. 2-0 on that jam, 114-30. St. Louis on top. Under 3 minutes remaining, we're going to have Magnum put on the star. He's going up against Furio of the Quad Guards. Good defensive jamming there by Furio. Once again, doing a little more. He's been doing that all day long, and by all day long, I mean in 2 games.
Yes, in 2 games.
Because that's the only opportunities he's had to do it. If he's doing it for other teams, that would be weird.
That would be really, really strange.
Like, we appreciate it, but why are you doing here?
And the crowd is appreciating the fact that Mr. Furio has got lead.
Magnum takes off the star, but has it in hand, so he does complete the initial pass. And Furio is just going to call it off after getting a fast 2 points on the board. Now 114-32. St. Louis still on top.
And Furio, we can see him on camera there, tongue sticking out, very happy with those 2 points.
You know, it's not an easy task facing St. Louis, but when you can get a lead jammer and pick up some points from them, you feel good about yourself.
Yeah. And so he should.
Absolutely. That's not an easy task. You want to know why some of us don't play? This is why. No way I could live up to the athleticism of any of the athletes on either of these two teams.
And we see Shane Bauer just open
backwards.
Inside line backwards, all of the turning and the fabulousness.
It was like watching Ricky Bobby win a race in reverse. Thor Tank through the pack. He'll get the initial pass. There's about a half track length between Shane Bauer inside the pack, picking up some points, looking for that last one, getting past the pivot for 4 and calling it off.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is smart jamming.
Absolutely. So 4-0 on that jam, 118-32. St. Louis on top, under 1 minute remaining. This could be maybe the final jam of the first half.
We won't call it just yet. You never know what happens.
No, especially when you have two high-ranked teams like this playing each other, anything can happen.
Yep. Talking of high-ranked, we have Mosh Pit No Jitsu, who is certainly been doing some high-ranking jamming up against Screech Around.
Only one blocker in the right L penalty box for Toulouse, and a track cut on Screech Around. He's going to have to go to the penalty box.
And Mosh Pit No Jitsu is looking to take advantage of this. Some lovely work from Toulouse to break up that wall. And we have lead assist to Mosh Pit No Jitsu. Yeah,
so they are getting a few lead jammers here and there, but they're just not getting as many points as they might need. That could change, though. There's always that possibility, and a whole nother half. Toulouse, remember, the 4th-ranked team in the world, so they are in striking distance in the rankings. There's a reason you're in the top 5.
And obviously with their win earlier today, hoping for another win.
Yeah, that was a win over another top 5 team, Manchester.
Yeah, that was a game that I was not looking forward to watching, just because it's a little heartbreaking sometimes, having so much love for both of those teams.
Screech Around out of the box, into the pack, and Mosh Pit No Jitsu is just going to call it off. Screech Around does get 1 point, though. It does steal a point. Let's see, another 5 for Toulouse.
Yep, that is 5 on the board for Toulouse.
Yeah, so 37-119. St. Louis will remain on top. Now that we have hit halftime, we are going to take a little bit of a break here.
Yep, we're going to take a break. We encourage you to take a break. If you're watching at home, make a cup of tea, have a beer, whatever you want.
Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah. But we encourage you to come back in about 11 minutes.
As Chris Ram would say, just live your best life.
Exactly. See you soon. I think we're live.
I think we are too. Welcome back to the 2018 MRDA Championships here in Salem, Oregon, hosted by Portland Bridgetown Menace and the Lane County Concussion. Champ Unkind.
Go Boots.
We are back here with the second half of the St. Louis GateKeepers versus the Toulouse Quad Guards. St. Louis on top at the moment, 119-37 penalty-wise. Toulouse in a little bit more trouble.
Yep.
We have number 322, that would be Gatto, with 4 penalties on the board. He is the leader. Nobody else has more than that. 2 players with 3, everyone else 1 or none.
And St. Louis, kind of a sprinkling of penalties here and there, but nobody with more than 2.
Yeah, so not really in any trouble. Neither team really in a lot of trouble. This has been a lower penalty game. We've seen some games here where there are a lot more.
Yeah, there's been a couple earlier today, I think, where we've had some foul outs and we've had some near foul outs.
And some ejections. But for so far in this game, it doesn't look like it's a little bit lower on the penalty side, a little bit cleaner of a game, smoother going. So who's our high-scoring jammer?
Our highest-scoring jammer, I will ask our wonderful Screech Around is our high-scoring jammer, 43 points.
Screech Around of St. Louis. We have 3 jammers on Toulouse with 10 points. And in about 30 seconds, we're going to go back to the track as we see the teams getting ready.
As much as I'm sure you're loving looking at our beautiful faces.
I know, we do smile pretty well, but
there we go.
there's only so much of that. You didn't pay to see this. You paid to see that.
You paid to see that, and quite frankly, I think it was worth the money.
But this was worth the money too.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like we should say hello to Grime, who is
I feel we should.
watching.
Optimus Grime, fan of the show, fan of
Hey.
roller derby. May have heard of him. We know he's watching.
Yes.
We have that ability.
Yes, we have the power. We have the technology. We can find out these things.
And we have skaters on the track. But there we go.
There we go. That's better.
Awkward.
Yes, we are two very, very awkward announcers.
Especially when you put us on camera.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I didn't know what to do with my hands. It was that Ricky Bobby moment. Like, I don't know what to do with them.
Well, I was going to say, I've been on camera quite a lot doing interviews and I've been
You
enjoying
have. You're the
it,
professional
so,
here.
yes.
I'll trust you on this. Magnum, the first jammer of the second half, and he's going to get the first penalty of the second half with a track cut. So we're going to have the first power jam of the second half.
And we're going to see Furio with the first lead jammer of the second half. Yes, we are.
Yeah, he is, and he's through. So an opportunity here for Toulouse to start off the second half on a better foot than they started the first. Let's see what happens here with Furio through the pack and 4 on the board.
Yeah, just sweeping past double
XL.
Double XL.
Double
yes.
XL. Not triple XL.
No. Though he's going to double down next time Furio comes around.
He must really like spreadsheets.
He does.
He's back into the pack. Magnum back out of the Rydell penalty box and going to call it off.
Did somebody just slingshot Magnum out? Because the speed that he came at the pack and just sliced through.
No, that's called natural.
Dag
Probably.
nabbit.
I mean, they call him Magnum for a reason. So it is Thortank. It's going to be going up against Shane Bauer.
Yeah, I was about to say we did see Shane Bauer before he ducked down so incredibly low.
Hide and seek. He's hiding from the blockers. He's seeking points.
That's basically what this game is. This is just a big old game of hide and seek.
Exactly.
And we will see who will win first.
Worst round of peekaboo ever. And it looks like Thortank at the front, but no, it's Shane Bauer taking the position and getting lead jammer. First lead jammer of the second half for the Gatekeepers.
Yep.
And there's been 2 jams.
Yep, there has only been 2 jams.
That's
so
about as high as I can count. So
1 apiece. And we right now are seeing that incredible tough 3 wall at the back just locking down on Thortank.
Shane Bauer forced back to the back of the pack, gets past number 23, Bonjour John. That was more goodbye John for Shane Bauer. He's just going to call it off after picking up 5 points.
Au revoir, John.
There you go.
Au revoir. Well, I was going to say, if this was an Italian team, you could have Ciao John, which is both hello and goodbye.
Hasta mañana, if it was Spanish.
Okay. See, you know what? Roller derby is educational, people.
Yeah.
We are giving you a tiny lesson in languages.
You've learned about 70% of what I know in Spanish already.
Excellent.
And it's going to be Mosh Pit Nujutsu going up against Screech Around. Both jammers into the pack looking for room. Nobody currently occupying the Rydell penalty box.
Double XL bringing Mosh Pit No Jitsu to the jam line.
Double XL's really been all over the place. It's not a surprise that this is something that he is known for. He can cover so much ground, and he's so fast as well, so quick on his feet. And especially when you have the teammates like Percy Control and Hulk standing right next to you, it makes your job a little bit easier.
Yeah, they are. I mean, I absolutely love Double XL. I like to kind of watch him smash people a little bit.
It's kind of fun.
Yes.
It's kind of entertaining. It's kind of why we do this.
Yes. Also, what I enjoy watching is jammers being locked into walls and then being released. Screech Around just freeing himself from the trouble.
Yeah, that was not easy, but he does get 5 points on the board. First 5 points of the jam. Mosh Pit Nujutsu looking for room. He has the star in hand. Goes into number 73, Kyle Stark. of House Stark. Winter is coming. I don't know.
As a person who lives in what is essentially Winterfell, I have yet to see either of the Starks return to Winterfell.
I'm pretty sure you live, Winterfell. That works.
Winterfell
Listen, we
works.
could go into more of the politics of Game of Thrones, but we're here for roller derby.
Yes.
We don't need to go into about Carhold and all that. So let's not. It's going to be Metcalf. I'm a nerd. I love that show. It's going to be Metcalf going up against, that would be number 213, Captain Flem. Captain Flem in the back of the pack. Back and front. If you are just joining us, St. Louis is in the green and black. Toulouse in red.
And it is very Christmassy right now. And all his Christmases have come at once. That is Captain Flem.
He looks holly jolly. He's holly jolly about getting that. But Metcalf out of the pack about a half track length behind. Now back into the pack, re-engaging Captain Flem, but Metcalf about to touch. Let's see if he does. 1 point for Captain Flem. Metcalf sneaking in there for 2 of his own. Advantage Gatekeepers.
Yeah, the Gatekeepers got a few extra presents in their Christmas stocking there with that last jam. I'm just going to keep referencing Christmas.
It's going to be Last Rites putting on the star.
And that is Mr. Furio up for Toulouse.
And if you're at the angle we're sitting, you literally cannot see Mr. Furio behind behind Last Rites at all. Last Rites is a very large human.
And Mr. Furio is a rather petite human.
I don't know. I imagine it would be what it would be like if a freight train came straight at you. Or something larger.
Yeah, but
maybe an aircraft carrier.
He is like a motorbike through.
Yeah.
And Furio is riding that opportunity.
He also rode the shoulder of Sir Nix-a-Lot into the inside. He's going to have to recycle. Oh! Calls it off instead. 2 points. Toulouse, nothing for St. Louis.
In French, that is deux points.
I learned something.
Yes.
And I'll probably forget it.
Learning is fun. Do you know what else is fun?
What's fun?
Roller derby.
Yes, it is. Speaking of fun roller derby to watch, it is Magnum and Thortank donning the stars.
Yep, they are on our 5-stride jam line right now. Got a bit of a split pack. Vault 31 pivot line being held by the Gatekeepers right now. And it is Thortank up front.
Yeah, but gets pushed back in, and the recovery speed of St. Louis's pack, very difficult to beat, and allowing Magnum to get through and get lead jammer. Magnum had to look over for a second because there were a few whistles, wanted to make sure he got through cleanly, and he did. Oh, it's going to be a power jam, a track cut on Thortank.
Yeah, Magnum not only getting through, but getting through on 1 foot in his first pass, 2 feet on his second pass. We'll see about this third pass through.
He gets low enough to get through. That's 5 points on the board, Gatekeepers. Bringing it up to 10 so far in the jam. Magnum looked like he might apex jump for a minute, but instead dodges to the outside, gets those points, and round he'll go again.
And with 1 to be at the front.
Untouched. Just a little dodge to the outside and another 5 on the board, bringing it up to 20 on the jam.
The Gatekeepers are very good at keeping these players apart right now, which is just making Magnum's way through the pack that little bit smoother.
Magnum takes a little tumble, decides it's time to call it off, picks up another 4, 24-0 on the jam, now currently 157-48, 22 minutes remaining. Defending champion St. Louis Gatekeepers on top.
So with this score differential right now, I'm not going to call it too soon. I have seen teams come back from over 100-point differential with less time than this. But if we're looking at that penalty board, St. Louis are playing so cleanly and Toulouse having a few penalty troubles. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Yaslamanas.
Yeah, he is the jammer for Toulouse. Shane Bauer, the jammer for St. Louis. Yaslamanas inside the pack, looking for room, will get through, and gonna call it off after picking up a fast 4.
Very smart work there. Yes, we have about 105 points between these two teams. So with 21 minutes left on the board, that's not insurmountable in any way, shape, or form.
157 to 52. 21 minutes remaining. Now less than that.
Because time goes down on this clock.
Yes.
It
You
counts
can't
down
gain
rather.
time unless you, well, if you win an official review, you might.
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 You might.
All right, it's Screech Around and Mosh Pit Ninjutsu with the Stars. Nobody currently in the Rydell penalty box. And Mosh Pit takes a hit to the inside of the track. Gonna have to recycle. Opportunity here for Screech Around at the front. Has a 3-wall in front of him, and he has to recycle. Although he does get lead jammer, he gets pushed out just as the signal was called.
Yeah, he is being recycled all the way back to turn 4 right now. Meanwhile, Mosh Pit Ninjutsu having such a tough time with that wall.
Yeah, not an easy task, but he is not giving up, fighting very hard, has the star in hand.
And a little offense from Slash Gordon attempting to help him through. But with Screech Around at the back, he has decided to join and play a bit more defense.
Saint trying to open up some room for Screech Around, who has not gotten through for any points, at least none that have been raised up by the referee, not because he's not made the full pass. So he's just going to call it off, killing some time. He does not get any points. Great defense there by Toulouse to hold it to a 0-0 jam.
That was fantastic work from Toulouse there.
Absolutely.
When they get in the zone, some of their blocking is phenomenal, and Screech Around is a very, very good jammer. To hold him back and to hold him to no points is fantastic.
We're going to have Metcalf putting on the star for St. Louis. He's going to go up against, I believe that is Captain Flem.
No, that is
Furio, excuse me. You know, Captain Furio. Maybe he gets promoted. I don't know. It is Furio. He's going to be forced to recycle after a hit from Percy Control. Metcalf at the front of the pack.
Yeah, Metcalf just desperately pushing against that wall, but no traction was made.
It was like, maybe if I lean at this angle, it'll work. But how about if you jump at that angle instead? He's lead jammer after that jump. Furio also completing the initial pass.
A clean inside line, a big hit there just as he's calling it off. That was 3 points. Not quite able to get past the hips of the final blocker. But, 3 points is still pretty good.
Yes. Especially when you're in the lead.
Yes.
And it's playoffs, and it doesn't, the differential doesn't matter as much. It's more just win and move on. That's really what's, the most important part of the whole thing. But we're going to have Thor Tank putting on the star for Toulouse. He's going up against Last Rights of St. Louis.
I feel like a lot of the jammers that come up against Last Rights look much smaller than they actually are.
I have a feeling the most humans that stand up next to Last Rights look much smaller than they are.
Last Rights is trying to read the blockers their rights.
Well, I don't know how he did that, but he did. Spun around, getting through like a ballerina. That was impressive.
These guys have been taking dance lessons.
Whenever you have a larger skater and they can be so agile, I mean, it's impressive.
It absolutely is impressive.
I mean, they do say that a lot of football players take ballet to help with their agility. It would not surprise me if roller derby skaters started doing the same thing.
Absolutely not. And we see Last Rights on another scoring pass right now. And just that sheer force of will on those toe stops pushing through. I think that is another 5 points on the board for St. Louis.
I'm not sure if it was sheer force of will or just sheer force of force.
Yes.
Because he looks like 100% force. Like he can just power himself through this pack every time. Star pass for Toulouse goes to number 31. That is Angry Bear.
But Angry Bear should not be angry there with that very fast skating to try and catch up and stop St. Louis from scoring any more points there.
Yeah, 13 points on the jam for the Gatekeepers. Now up 173 to 52 over the Quad Guards as we're approaching the 16-minute mark of the second half. Remember, this is the first semifinal game. Winner of this game goes on to the championship tomorrow night at 7 o'clock Pacific time. That would be 10 p.m. Eastern in the United States.
I can work out the math at some point later for the Europeans.
Who's got that meme ready? Striker, where are you? And it is Magnum through first. Lee Jammer. Once again, Gatekeepers. Captain Flem inside the pack.
As we said, the winner from this game will go on to play the winner from the next game. Yes, there is even more roller derby today, guys.
6 games a day.
Yep. And that will be either Bridgetown or that will be
Bridgetown
Vancouver.
or Vancouver. Yeah, Vancouver with the big upset of the tournament so far. The number 7 seed over the number 3 seed, Southern Discomfort, earlier today. Of course, it doesn't get any easier. You have to play Bridgetown next. The number 2 seed, Magnum, gets through the pack, picks up 3, calls it off. That'll bring it up to 8 total on the jam, 181-52. Gatekeepers on top of the quad guards, as it looks like we're about to enter the 4th and final quarter of the game. Timeout taken by Toulouse. Who's this timeout brought to us by there?
This timeout is brought to us by Rydell Skates, sponsoring the 2018 MRDA Championships. And we also want to give a big shout out to Apex Wellness Center. Jump over the Apex to Apex Wellness Center, offering chiropractic, massage, and acupuncture to get you back on track.
And we'd also like to thank one of our other sponsors. Hit this before you hit the track. Hit this.
And if you happen to be coming down to Salem for the final day, I'm going to recommend that you do, or watch it on the stream, that's fine. But, you know, if you can get here, get down. Hit This already has a stall, so you can buy all of your fabulous derby gear, even if it's just a mouth guard. Go buy
Just
that.
get it. You need it.
Everyone needs new mouth guard.
Absolutely.
And also you can check out Turn Left Clothing, who have a fabulous boutique with them. I have already decided I'm going to spend a lot of money there.
And while we're at, we might as well thank our tournament head announcer, Julia Sleazer, putting everybody in a position to succeed. And
Yes.
I don't know about you, but I've had a good time, so we'd like to thank Julia Sleazer for the opportunity to be here to talk about roller derby to everyone listening here today.
Absolutely. And it looks like the team timeout is coming to an end. And we're starting again. Captain Flem, Shane Bauer, wearing those stars. And Shane Bauer just, like 6 seconds and he's through.
Yeah, well, it also helps that Captain Flem started in the Rydell penalty box, now out of the Rydell penalty box. So Shane Bauer with an opportunity to kill some of the clock and pick up some more points. That's how you win a game at this point, with less than 15 minutes remaining.
There was a saying in the UK that points mean prizes, and Gatekeepers are looking for a prize at the end of this tournament.
Slash Gordon picks up a multiplayer block. He will join another Toulouse skater in the box, so 4-2 pack advantage going to the Gatekeepers right now, with Shane Bauer trying to get some points on his first scoring pass.
Yep, Captain Flem seeing a little bit of an opportunity for freedom there. Gatekeepers just shutting it down once more. We see
3 Toulouse blockers in the box. That's not fun.
Yep, so if Captain Flem is looking for some offense, it might be a little difficult.
Shane Bauer, another 5 on the board. That's 9 total on the jam, now under 14 minutes remaining. Some of these Toulouse skaters making their way back to the track from that Rydell penalty box.
Yeah, the Rydell penalty box clearing up a little bit, and Shane Bauer just deciding to give a little hit tap and a call off.
So 12 jams in to the second half. 12 points on the board for St. Louis on that jam, 193-52.
And we have 13 and a half minutes left in the second half. That clock keeps counting down. St. Louis doing fantastically with 193. Toulouse, 52. It's a tough game.
Yeah, on the 5-stride jam line, it is screech around for St. Louis and Mr. Furio for the quad guards, and it is screech around picking up Lee Jammer, but Furio furiously fighting through the pack, about a quarter of a track length behind, and actually gaining speed on St. Louis's jammer. 3 points picked up, though, by St. Louis before it's called off. Now 196-52, under 13 minutes remaining.
Yeah, we saw Screech probably looking out of the corner of his eye at a flash of red racing towards him and going, I'm going to call this now.
Good call. He is very fast, and we know how these Toulouse jammers can just fly into the pack. They all look like human missiles. And when they go into the pack, they can do some damage, especially when they're re-entering on a scoring pass. Metcalf will be going up against Yas Lemonas.
Metcalf dragging his own player back there. Toulouse hasn't scored for 6 jams, but it looks like Yas Lemonas might be giving an opportunity to change that tide.
Metcalf at the front. Metcalf loses his footing, takes a tumble. No pass, no penalty, but he's not lead jammer anyway, so it doesn't really affect the outcome of that pass.
Yeah, Yas Lemonas. That's going to be a skate name, very hard to say. So
It
I
is.
apologize.
Metcalf goes into the pack just as it's called off. Gives a nice little "you okay" pat to the blocker. It's returned. Everybody's happy. Good sportsmanship all around. 196-54 after the 2-point jam by Toulouse.
Everyone is sporting very good today.
Very, very good sportsmanship today. You know, you see these teams that they're shaking hands after. You know, during the Philly game, we saw one player get ejected. He went over to the bench, made sure everybody was okay, saying sorry. You know, that's what you want to see in those situations, is great sportsmanship, and that's what we've seen a lot of so far at the 2018 MRDA championships.
Yeah, and we have also seen some phenomenal blocking. Mosh Pit No Jitsu is experiencing that blocking right now, getting a little offense from Gatto. But we see Double XL just locking him down.
Yeah, last right still looking for room, but they're clogging up all the lanes. Oh, and a track cut going to send Mosh Pit No Jitsu to the Rydell penalty box. Last right through the pack, and he will be lead jammer for the Gatekeepers. Looks like his arms are up, looking like he was about to call it off for a moment.
Yeah, I think he maybe hadn't seen that Mosh Pit No Jitsu was in the box. He's now going to be drawn back to turn 1.
And he's going to call it off instead. Let's see if he gets any points. Looks like there's a back block being called. Trying to figure out who it's on.
I think the Hulk.
Hulk, yes.
The Hulk is dutifully turning up into the box.
Too much smashing. Don't smash that much. That'll send you to the right penalty box.
He's also wearing green, so,
yeah.
you know, when the Hulk is angry, he goes into a big green angriness.
I wonder if they planned it that way.
Mayhaps. Somebody that needs to do some planning right now is 1789 on Toulouse, currently on 6. That is Braveheart. Braveheart is kind of dancing close to danger.
With 6 penalties.
Yep, 6 penalties. Toulouse, quite a few penalties spread out over there, and St. Louis, a remarkable small amount of penalties, which when you're playing this tough a game is surprising and also great.
Yes. I mean, and one thing you got to love about Toulouse here is you don't see them getting frustrated. You see them just trying as hard as they can and having a good time and generally sporting a really good attitude in this game. I mean, facing St. Louis is no easy task for anybody. It doesn't matter whether you're ranked number 2 or number 10 or number 50. Not easy for anyone. Toulouse definitely up for this challenge and with a great attitude.
I think as well, when you're in these top level tournaments, every game is a learning opportunity.
It is.
And even if Toulouse is currently 146 points behind, good math.
I try sometimes.
They still have so much to learn from the Gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are a phenomenal team, and you know, that's how you get better.
2 points picked up on the jam to finish it for St. Louis, now 202-54. Yeah, you know, these aren't teams that necessarily get to play each other very often either. So when the Quad Guards do get the opportunity to play a team like the Gatekeepers, they're going to take advantage of it and, like you said, learn as much as they can. You know, there's only one team ranked ahead of them at the moment in the MRDA rankings in Europe, and that's Southern Discomfort.
Mm-hmm.
After Southern Discomfort's last game, though, that might be up for debate.
Yes, we will see what happens once rankings are released once more. But released once more has been Mr. Furio and Shane Bauer. Furio releasing all of his rage into that wall and getting lead.
He does. Shane Bauer still looking for room. Got a 3-wall in front. Still looking for room. Nobody's moving. High G Nick anchoring that 3-wall, now breaking apart thanks to a multiplayer block. That would be on Gato. So he'll go to the penalty litter box, or the Rydell penalty box.
So I'm going to say Gato in the UK is actually a dessert.
Oh, okay. I thought it meant cat.
No. It's spelled differently in the UK. So
Okay.
Gato probably is cat. We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Maybe our post-game interview will be with Gato, and if so, hopefully somebody will ask him.
Questions.
These are the questions that people want to know.
This keeps me up at night.
Exactly.
And I could probably just look it up on my phone at any moment in time. We have the technology.
Yeah, but sometimes it's nicer to learn something without Google.
Screech around and Thor Tank are the jammers on the 5-stride jam line as
and
they move towards
Thor
that.
Tank.
Yes, he's the first one to cross the Vault 31 pivot line and will be lead jammer for Toulouse. Screech around, making his way out of the pack, about a half track length behind.
And Thor Tank just thrusting into a very tough wall, picking up a penalty there. That was a back block, and we saw one of the St. Louis players waving him goodbye.
Oh! So, bunch of players taking a tumble there, and Gato going back to the penalty box, the Rydell penalty box.
Oh, Screech around, trying to hand the pivot, the star to the pivot, the Saint. I think he got
an illegal procedure, it looks like.
I think that could be because he was kneeling on the floor.
Yeah, so Thor Tank out of the box, about to hit that pack, now into the pack, past his own blockers who are going to try to open up some holes for him, but this St. Louis pack quickly reforming. Hulk in front. I'm sorry, not Hulk. Bled Zeppelin in front. And big hits, sending him out of bounds. This time moving to the inside. Power jams over, Screech around back onto the track.
And everybody just being pushed to the outside there.
Yeah, Bled Zeppelin will pick up a forearm on that. Screech around, once again re-engaging the pack. The scoring's kind of slowed down over the last few jams.
Yeah, we've seen very, very low scoring jams going on with 5.5 minutes left in this. I hate to say it, but I think Toulouse might not be able to come and make a rip-roaring change in that score.
As a fan of Kevin Garnett, anything is possible.
Anything is possible.
Anything is possible. 8-4 on the jam in favor of Toulouse. So it is now 210-66, 5:02 remaining, and we're going to have an official review called by Toulouse.
So we see Mr. Pink and Magnum in the middle there, having a little chat with our fantastic ref crew.
And remember, coming up next, we have our second semifinals and final game of the day. Bridgetown Menace taking on the Vancouver Murder. Yeah, it's going to be, and actually, I believe these two teams, Bridgetown being the host league, the closest team geographically here, or geographically close to here, that is here physically, would be Vancouver.
Yep, that is correct.
We believe they are familiar with each other.
I have spoken to a couple of the Bridgetown skaters who have told me that they have played Vancouver before. I think they are concentrating on keeping their ranking, and Vancouver is looking to upset a lot of rankings right now. So we can see the officials conferring, and once we get some more information, we will let you know. But we want to give a big thank you to Vault 31, Vault 31 Bar. Let Vault 31 be your destination for all the derby watch parties, esports, music, and more. Visit vault31bar.com for more information.
So once again, 5:02 remaining.
Yeah, we have one more game today, and we have one more day of roller derby for you.
So 7 more games total. 1 more today, 6 more tomorrow.
Yes. Basically, if you've only just joined us and you haven't watched any more of the games this weekend, you still have so much good derby to be watching tomorrow. So please do join us. We are so excited to be here and watching this.
And when have we ever had 3 back-to-back-to-back upsets? Starting with Vancouver over Southern Discomfort, then we had Lincolnshire over Philadelphia, and then finally Tyne and Fear over Denver. What does this say about the European teams?
They're a little bit good.
They're kind of getting better.
Yeah.
Your top 10 is going to have more of them now.
Yes.
It's going to be interesting to see how this shakes up.
Yeah, we were having a conversation earlier, with 5 teams crossing the pond to play these American teams, to be a part of this. It's just showing how much stronger roller derby is getting in Europe. There are so many teams joining the MRDA every year, and we're also very lucky that we still get to see some of the slightly lower ranked teams get the opportunity to join us for these tournaments. Oh, we are just going to go to our...
Toulouse was requesting that the back block penalty be upgraded to an expulsion, and it has been denied.
Okay, so one of the teams looking for a back block penalty to be an expulsion.
And they didn't get it. Nope. 5:02 left. 5:02 left. 2:10, 66. We're about to get back. Metcalf on the 5-stride jam line, going up against Mosh Pit no Jutsu as everybody passes the Vault 31 pivot line.
And I think some of the Toulouse players being called out of play there. But Mosh Pit no Jutsu got through, got lead. But Metcalf is hot on his heels.
And he's just going to call it off. Play it safe. Let's see. 1 pit for Metcalf. No points for Mosh Pit no Jutsu. 1-0 on the jam. 2:11, 66, 4.5 remaining.
Can we just point out how happy Metcalf was for that single point? He just cheered, yay, at getting that point, being sneaky.
It was hard fought. He fought very hard for that point. He came in at the last second and was able to steal 1 point away from the lead jammer.
Absolutely.
I don't care if you're on the number 1 ranked team and you've done it a million times, or if you're first time on the last ranked team or an unranked team, it feels good to be able to do something like that.
Exactly. Sneaky jammers. More sneaky jammers on track. Last Rights and Yasla Menas.
Yeah, I wouldn't really call him a sneaky jammer. You could probably see him from a long mile away.
You can see him from Portland.
Probably from
we're
space.
In Salem.
You can see him jamming from space. And over the apex. I don't think he's supposed to do that, but he does and picks up 5 points. I don't mean do that derby-wise. I meant sciencely.
Yes.
I mean, that's a word. Totally.
It's the same way that bumblebees technically shouldn't be able to fly with their body mass and their wingspan. But they do.
I don't know how.
It's magic. It's delicious honey-flavored magic.
Yeah. We had this discussion last night. I won't go into my stance on honeybees or bumblebees.
I'm going to bribe him with $2
Maybe
later.
one day.
It's
yeah.
fine.
$2 seems to be the bribe. I don't know.
It is a good bribe.
The standard bribe.
But
Magnum,
good jamming.
Yeah, well, Magnum does get a back block. He's going to go to the Rydell penalty box. So it's going to be a power jam in favor of Toulouse, with Furio possessing the star. Trying to open up some room.
Furio is made of rubber bands and magic. Because he can duck down so low and then get up such speed. It's lovely.
Sir Nixolet was working on him on the outside, and Double XL says, "Excuse me, my jammer needs to get through." But my jammer's in the box. Never mind. I'm going to stop you to stop helping your jammer. I'm totally ad-libbing this. This is not probably what he said.
No, we'll ask him after the game.
Less words, more
going
action.
On his head.
Yeah, probably less words and a lot more action.
It's probably, Double XL smash.
So now we see some defensive jamming. Furio taking on Magnum, but Magnum squeaking by and unable to stay in bounds. Going to have to go back in after a good hit by number 192 of the quad guards, Big Jim.
Big Jim delivering a big hit, and
Magnum
Magnum following it with a big jump.
Yeah, exactly. And 4 points on the board for the Gatekeepers. Furio kind of spun around there like a top.
Like I said, rubber bands and magic.
Yeah, just kind of spinning around there, but another 4 points on the board for Magnum with time winding down now, under 2 minutes remaining. What is Magnum going to do? Is he going to wind down the time, try to pick up more points, or is he going to call it off, give somebody else a try? I think he's going to pick up some more points. Hey, I'm right.
That is the magic of announcing.
Every once in a while, you get something right.
Yeah, or, you know, you look at what's happening and you just say.
Or you just use your eyes.
Yes. We use our eyes for visuals, and Magnum is using his skates to get himself maybe
Some more points.
some more points.
One more point. But 1 point picked up by Toulouse, so it's going to be a 14-5 jam, 229-71. St. Louis on top as we're about to hit that 1 minute mark. This potentially could be our final jam of this semifinal matchup. Remember, we do have another one coming up next, Bridgetown versus Vancouver.
And we also saw Double XL going to the penalty box. So it's going to be a 4-on-3 pack advantage right now for Toulouse.
It's going to be Shane Bauer and Captain Flem on the 5-stride jam line for what potentially could be our final jam. Captain Flem at the front of the pack, pushing back, having to recycle near the Vault 31 pivot line.
Yep, those jammers are glued to those blockers right now. We see some lovely offense from Gatto, but
yeah, and if nobody gets lead before the period clock runs out, this definitely will be our final jam. As we're about 15 seconds remaining on the period clock.
neither jammer is out yet.
Shane Bauer looking for room, 5 seconds remaining. These smaller quad guard blockers just holding their own, and it's hit zero. Shane Bauer just going to call it off. Folks, that's the game. Unofficial final score, 230-71. And
we will wait for that score to be official.
But more importantly, I mean, it's safe to say, I think, that St. Louis will be going back to the MRDA Championships to defend it for a fourth time.
Are they going to get the 4?
That's the question, and we're going to find out who they're going to be facing coming up next. First, we do have some interviews, some recaps, all that to go over. Nobody fouled out from this game,
yes.
So a clean game on more penalty-wise. Nobody was fouled out, no expulsions, so a lot of good sportsmanship we saw here, and much cleaner between the two teams. We've seen a few expulsions and foul-outs over the course of the 2 days.
We've seen a couple of very penalty-heavy games. The last couple during the course of the day, we have seen some foul-outs, we have seen some expulsions, which is always sad to kind of watch. It's sad when people get expelled,
especially when it's people you know.
Exactly.
Which is so common in the derby community.
Yes. But what we love to see right now is people taking a little victory lap, and Toulouse still might walk away with some shiny metal.
Yeah, the number 3, third place is still up for grabs. That's where they're going to go. They will face the loser of our next game in the 3-4 game tomorrow. But for now, St. Louis, they're going to be celebrating a little bit tonight.
Yep, they are guaranteed to walk home with a medal, and they are such a lovely team who work very, very solidly, and it kind of shows with scores like this. They're pretty darn good at what they do.
They are. 6 penalties was the max for 2 skaters on Toulouse. That would be Gatto and Braveheart. Other than that, a couple guys with 4. St. Louis, number 7, that would be Magnum, picked up 4. Everyone else 2 or less. So once again, a clean game. And the St. Louis Gatekeepers doing what the St. Louis Gatekeepers do, defend titles.
Exactly. As I said, we're seeing Bridgetown. We're going to see Toulouse. But there are teams that still have more games that won't be medal-winning games, but will hopefully take a little reflection on the rankings. I think our little visual at in between the games is showing us what's happening.
Well, we're going to... And I think we're about to go to the sideline for our interview, so we're going to sign off here. We're going to throw it over to Julius Leeser. My name is Champa. Or are we not done yet? We're not ready yet. Never mind. I'm wrong.
It's fine. We're just going to vamp a little bit. And I think we see the players having pictures together. which is lovely. We haven't seen that too much. We have seen some nice handshakes and hand slaps going on. But yeah, as we were saying, that it's not just the 2 games for the medals tomorrow.
No, it's rankings. It's learning new teams, learning new strategies, adjusting. You grow as a team. That's what you do in this situation. If you're not going to win, you might as well get something out of it. And I can tell you, after talking with some of these teams that have lost here this weekend, they do see this. They do see the positive of the learning opportunities in these games, and I think this is something, especially for these European teams and the American teams that are facing each other for the first time. They're going to take these strategies that they see home and try to work on them. I think you're going to see a lot of change in these strategies of MRDA coming up over the next few months. I think 2019 MRDA roller derby is going to look completely different than what we've seen here, just because we've seen how these European teams, they use different strategies, but they're effective.
They are effective, and we've got a couple of teams that have come in for their first shot at championships. You've got the likes of Denver, Tyne and Fear, it's their first time. A couple of the other teams, and they're so happy to be here, and they're so happy to be given the shot to play some great derby. And we're going to give you a shot of some fantastic people down there. We're throwing it down for our interview.
So I'm Champ Unkind.
I'm Go-Go Boots.
Have a decent day.
Hi, I am Julia Sleazer. I'm joined here by Metcalf and Wrecking Bill from the St. Louis GateKeepers. First of all, let me congratulate you on your 44th consecutive win. So I've been curious for a while. You have 2 of the most divergent personalities, in my opinion, on the track and off the track. And I think it's been interesting how cohesive GateKeepers are as a team. So can you tell me what you think is probably one of the most important traits on the track to make you guys work as an actual unit?
Like you said, we all have very different personalities. Bill and I clearly are very different people, but when it comes time for game time, when it comes time when the whistles blow, we put our personalities aside, we put our egos aside, and we only have one goal, and that's to keep the GateKeepers winning. So it doesn't matter what I think or feel, it doesn't matter what Bill thinks or feels. We have one goal, and we're of one mind.
Do you have anything to add, Bill?
I do. We train for specific things on the track, so whenever diversity comes, we're already prepared for it because we train as a team and as a unit, and I think that is our advantage to the other teams in MRDA.
So tomorrow you will be facing off against question mark. It's going to be coming up Vancouver or Bridgetown, and so this is your 8th men's champs. This is your 5th, is it really?
Well, on the charter, this is my 4th playing a game. No, this is my 3rd playing a game, but I've been on the charter for 5 years. So
what do you, since it's every year it's going to be a pretty different competition, what did you do this year to get ready for the setups? Because there's been a lot of upsets, maybe not for you, but overall, so you have a lot of things to look out for in this.
I mean, of course, we train for specific scenarios and such, and if a team seems to be doing something in particular, we might train for that. But at the heart of it, everyday practice, we're just drilling the same stuff that we're doing every day. We analyze our games from previous tournaments, we adjust as need be, and we try to just focus on what makes us good and kind of try to not flow with trends and get too bogged down in those details.
I do. I feel like we train against 2 of the best lines in MRDA all the time. So whatever anybody else brings against us, I figured I've already faced by facing Pack 2 of the GateKeepers. So I don't really concern myself. And I'm going against 2 of the best jammers in MRDA and a couple of the top 10 behind them. And so I don't feel like there's anything that anybody can surprise us with. And we train constantly and hard all year long. And I think our record this year shows that. Our closest loss until this championship was 99 points. Our closest win, I mean, no one's came within 100 points of us all year. So we've been consistent. We train hard and we play hard all the time.
Well, thank you so much for both of you joining me, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much. Yeah.